Good whatever time of day it is to you, and welcome back to the channel. Today, as you probably read in the title, and if you didn't, I have no idea how you got here, LEGO has never made any Star Trek sets or minifigures. So today, let's change that by designing Star Trek minifigures from across all the main series, from the original series all the way up to Discovery. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting with the original series, here we have a Kirk and Spock minifigure based on their costumes from the movies, as these were the more intricately designed and visually interesting uniforms compared to the actual series uniforms. As you can see, I'm not the best at drawing minifigure hair or faces. You'll probably notice as we go through that the faces look rather similar, with all of them having a pretty much stern face. This probably is thanks to the reference image I used that showed them all as rather stern. The Kirk and Spock are pretty simple in design in that they are both pretty much identical, with a brown body and legs going into black, and then black boots, a Starfleet symbol for a belt buckle, wide comlink badges, or what would be comlink badges in later series, a black and gold joining line going down on Kirk's, and just a black line on Spock, where they can unfold the whole uniform, as they often did in the movies. They also have a slight difference in that Spock has a more DNA strand sort of design to the white shoulder piece, whereas Kirk has more of a Maltese cross to his. Next up, we have the Next Generation Star Trek minifigures with Captain Picard and William Riker. As you can see, their uniforms are again pretty much identical, with black legs and a red top with some black lines through it. They have more rounded comlink badges with a smaller Starfleet triangle, and of course they have a different amount of pips for Captain with 4 pips, and Commander for Riker with 3 pips. Picard's hair was very easy to do, as he has no hair, so that was just left blank, luckily. And Riker's hair is one of the few that I used a reference image of actual minifigure hair to get accurate to minifigure hair. This was the only time I did this, because again, my artistic abilities are not that great. But overall, I like these designs of these two very much, and I do think they do well at getting the point across. Next, we have the Voyager minifigures, which are pretty much all black with a red line going across the shoulders, and then a blue stroke greyish blue colour around the neck for the shirt underneath. Their comlink badges are much bigger than the original series and the Next Generation, these being Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay. For Janeway's hair, I based it off of the bun hairstyle she had in the early series of Voyager. Again, these both have pretty basic faces, which are pretty much identical, but Chakotay obviously has his tribal mark above his eye. Now we're on to minifigures whose 2 minifigures don't actually wear the same uniforms, luckily, with the Deep Space Nine minifigures of Captain Sisko and Kira Nerys. Sisko's uniform is the later series' uniform seen in Deep Space Nine, which I call the War uniforms, as this is during the Dominion War, with the very grey top with black lines going down throughout and just black body. The comlink on the chest is pretty much identical to the Voyager ones, which is pretty much to be expected, as Voyager and Deep Space Nine pretty much occurred relatively at the same time. The second minifigure is Kira Nerys, who doesn't wear a Starfleet uniform, being from Bajor and being part of the Bajoran militia. Her comlink is a small circular design on the opposite side of her chest to everyone else, and her uniform is the Bajoran militia uniform, which is sort of a reggy green brown colour. Her face I've made a little more cheerful as she was generally a bit more cheerful but still stern. I've also included the top of nose ridges in the middle of the minifigure, as that is part of the design. If I had done side views, I would probably have also included her Bajoran earring as well, as that is quite a distinctive feature. Next up we have Star Trek Enterprise minifigures with Jonathan Archer and T'Pol. These again are different uniforms, as Archer's is what will become Starfleet, because it wasn't Starfleet at that point, and T'Pol is just Vulcan clothing. Archer is very simple, with a blue-purple jumpsuit basically, with gold highlights around the shoulder area and many pockets throughout, and has his pips on the right side of him. There is no comlink on this minifigure because this was again early in the timeline for Star Trek, so they didn't use comlinks at that point on the chest yet. Now onto the T'Pol minifigure, which is probably my favourite minifigure I designed, as it just looks the best in my opinion, mainly because it's an all red minifigure with a few lines on it where it's been joined together and so forth. The hairpiece here, like with Spock, would have the pointed elf ears, as Vulcans are known for having pointed ears. I forgot to mention that when we did Spock. And yeah, overall, I quite like this minifigure a lot. And now, on to the final series with Star Trek Discovery. I'll be honest, I haven't really watched this series. I think I only watched like the first series, maybe the second, but not entirely sure. So this is purely based on the reference images I had. Our two minifigures are Michael Burnham and Captain Philippa Gregorio, or however you say it. I apologise for that pronunciation. These two are very similar, with a body of a purple, I'm going to say, suit, and showing that they are different ranks, with the silvery colour highlights for Burnham and gold colours for the captain. Their faces again are rather simple and similar to everyone else's. And I'm not completely happy with the hairpiece that I've used for Philippa, as it just seems a little too not quite Lego-y. Probably a better hairpiece to use for that would have been the Bellatrix hairpiece, but I think that might be slightly too bushy for it as well. So yeah, that is my 12 Star Trek minifigures from the 6 main series. Let me know in the comments what you think and which minifigure you think is the best. And I shall see you when I see you. Goodbye.